Have you ever felt like you didn't belong anywhere? Like you were too foreign for one place, but too unfamiliar for another? Yeah, well, that's been my entire life story. Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Not Your Shaikha. My name is Amal, and if you're listening to this, I just wanted to start off by thanking you from the bottom of my heart. Starting something new always feels weird because you never really know if people are going to care, if you're going to succeed, etc. But anyway, I've had this idea recently where I wanted to grow and work on myself and my religion and my knowledge and so on. And I thought, why not share my journey on here with you guys? And I knew that if I was going to be doing this, it had to feel real. So let's get something straight before we start. This is called Not Your Shaikha for a reason. I'm not a scholar, I'm not a perfect person, and I'm definitely not here to preach. You know how sometimes people talk about religion, faith, or life in this super polished, almost fake way? Like they have everything figured out. Well, that's not me. This is just an honest space where we can talk about faith, identity, and all the messy things in between without feeling like we have to be perfect. So no filters, no holier than thou vibes, just real talk. And I think of it like a deep conversation with your best friend at 3 a.m. when you're questioning everything about life. That's the vibe I'm going for. And so now that we've set the tone, who am I and why am I even doing this? I guess if I had to describe my life in a phrase, it would be stuck in the middle or like the in-between. I grew up as a diaspora kid, Lebanese but raised in Saudi Arabia. And when I say raised, I mean fully raised. My whole world was there. My friends and I were all brought up in a similar way. We had the same values, the same upbringing, the same unspoken rules. And we didn't really question much because there wasn't much to question. It was like we were all moving through life on the same path without any major disruptions. And because of that, I never really thought about things like identity, culture, or even religion in a deeper way. It was just there. I had a strong relationship with God, alhamdulillah, and I was comfortable in my faith, and honestly, I thought that was enough. Even though I wasn't wearing the hijab back then, I tried my best to be modest enough with the way I dressed and carried myself, because I had some rules set, like my shirts had to be a specific height to cover certain areas, no sleeveless tops or revealing cutouts. They had to have a certain bagginess to them and so on, to the point where I had some hijabi friends who would joke and tell me I dressed more modestly than them sometimes and that I just needed to throw on my scarf and I'm ready to go. So in general, back then, I never felt like anything was missing. I felt so me and life made sense. But then I moved to Lebanon and suddenly nothing made sense anymore. So moving to Lebanon felt like I was getting hit by a truck, a cultural truck. I thought I was Lebanese, but the second I got there, I realized, nope, I was an outsider. People were so different. Everyone talked about politics like it was their morning coffee. Like, why does every conversation start with the government? I'm just here trying to buy a snack and the ammo is trauma dumping on my unsuspecting self. And the way that I am, other people's problems become my problems. I don't just empathize, I really take it all in, and their problems become my problems, as if we are one. And I can lose sleep over why that random man is suffering the way that he is. even little children understood everything about politics and news, and they kept up with these political parties and their leaders' names, which to this day, I still don't have them all memorized. So it just felt like in Saudi, it was like we were living under a rock where life was all rainbows and sunshines, and slowly that image is falling apart. Like, life is so hard, way harder than I imagined, and so on. But it wasn't just that. There was something deeper where in Saudi, I always felt like a stranger because at the end of the day, it wasn't my country. But in Lebanon, where I was technically from, I still didn't fit in. It was like no matter where I went, I was always a step behind. Too foreign for one place, but too unfamiliar for another. And when it comes to the religion aspect, in Saudi, because we were all kind of on the same page, I never had to question anything. But in Lebanon, people were either way more religious and knowledgeable than me, or they were super liberal in a way that I just couldn't relate to. So I found myself in this weird in-between space where I didn't know where I belonged. If I hung out with the really religious girls, I felt insecure and out of place. But if I hung out with people who weren't religious at all, I felt like I had to hold on to my values even more, and it felt like I didn't fit anywhere. And at the time, I met a lot of people that were so different to me and to each other. But I had this friend, and I can tell you straight away that he was one of the few people who really looked out for me. But our friendship was complicated. He had the typical Lebanese bluntness that I'm not used to. And I'm here, this naive, pure, innocent girl who is so sensitive and emotional. Like in Saudi, I was used to the kind of treatment where if I said I was upset about something, my friends and family, like even my parents, would make it a whole thing. Like, oh my God, Emma's upset. We need to fix this right now. But in Lebanon, people would just go like, okay, and so that was really the case between me and him. We get those phases where we would talk and then not talk because something he says would upset me and he wouldn't apologize, and then he would come back normally and I would welcome the interaction normally because I just knew that his intentions were pure. Like, even when I say I'm upset, deep down I could never actually be upset because he was like this brother looking out for me and giving me lectures about how I can't stay this nice and naive to everyone. And he really helped me a lot in a way where he used to tell me that if I didn't toughen up, Lebanon would eat me alive. And at the time, that sounded so dramatic, but he wasn't wrong. Like, Lebanon was tough and I needed to learn how to stand my ground, or else if I didn't have that strong foundation or guidance, I could have easily gone on a different path and I wouldn't be where I am today. So, reflecting on my friendship with him, I wish I had thanked him earlier and told him how much of a great impact he made in my life. He was martyred during the war, and it still hurts to think about because he wasn't just a passing friend. He was someone who pushed me to grow even when I didn't want to. And in a way, he was one of the people that helped lay my foundation of experiences when I was in Lebanon, and how I started thinking more deeply about who I was and who I wanted to be, and really start taking my life seriously. I realized that because I wasn't used to the way things worked in Lebanon, I needed something to anchor me, something to remind me of the values I grew up with, the things that mattered to me. And that's when I decided to wear the hijab. It was in my second year of university, and it was an easy decision for me, to be honest, despite the backlash I received, because a lot of people were against it back then. But for me, it wasn't about anyone else. It was about standing my ground in a world where I constantly felt lost, and that's why I chose to wear it on the birthday of Sayyida Zainab, the granddaughter of the Prophet, because she was a woman of strength, of resilience, and I wanted to hold on to even a fraction of that. And one day I hope I can make a video dedicated for her, maybe in Ashura or something. But it's a shame that she isn't talked about a lot in the general Muslim community. But anyway, here I am, living in London, still figuring things out, but the difference is I don't feel like an outcast anymore, because here everyone is a diaspora in some way, and in a weird way we all bond over that. But at the end of the day, Not Your Shaikha isn't about me acting like I have all the answers, because I really don't. It's about me asking the questions and searching for the answers by the help of scholars or experts on that topic, which will help me grow and improve myself to the best of my ability. Then I'll go ahead and share it on here with like-minded people that could find my journey beneficial with their own journeys. And I hope this stays as a judgment-free zone where we can talk respectfully and share our knowledge and opinions, worries, and all that, because I really want to hear your stories. Like, have you ever felt like you didn't belong? Please do drop me a comment below and I'll be reading and replying, inshallah. And if you've enjoyed this, please hit the subscribe button because we're only getting started. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode, inshallah. Bye.